keep it shut down. Let's shut down the entire world. Let's keep it shut for a couple of years.
Well, Dr. Fauci himself has dismissed as anecdotal, cheap, scalable, decades-old therapies that are already vital weapons in the battle against COVID-19. They show real promise in keeping people not just out of the ICU, but out of the hospital altogether, just like the CDC director. They're like this on the issue. On this subject, this is big news today. French President Emmanuel Macron made a surprise trip to Marseille today to that infectious disease institute of Professor Didier Raoult. Now, he's a renowned epidemiologist in all of Europe. Macron was handed the results of a follow-up study of more than 1,061 COVID patients that were put on a regimen of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. The preliminary report contains some very good news. Now, the results are still being analyzed, but the virologic healing was achieved in 973 of the patients in 10 days, or an efficacy rate of 91%. But what about the critics who cited possible serious complications of these drugs? Well, Professor Raoult found 0 cardiac complications in any of his subjects. America has some clinical trials of its own going on right now, but this French data confirms what our own Dr. Stephen Smith, he'll be on in a few moments, found in his infectious disease practice as well. This is good news. And thank the good Lord, we have a president who recognizes the importance of advancing these medical solutions as fast and as safely as possible. Now, a stark reminder of how far we have fallen because of this virus and, of course, the shutdown. In early February, we had long lines to get into clubs and neighborhood hotspots. But in early April, Americans are now lining up for basic necessities.
Over 1,200 cars lined up at this stadium in San Diego over the weekend.
When they see that box of food coming into the car, some of them smile and some of them cry.
As the president said, the shutdown, what it's doing, what it's obviously done to the income earning potential of people. We have record numbers of people at food banks, even in Boston. A friend of mine told me the other day, he couldn't believe what he saw. The president said this state that we're in, this like suspended state of animation, is unnatural. It cannot continue indefinitely. Certainly can't continue much longer. We have to adapt to new information, new data, and when the projections are off, as they've been off, we've demonstrated this actually almost for 2 weeks now, our response to that crisis has to be smartly adjusted and also safely. So new realities, new protocols, a phased-in reopening. Measures that work for New York, where things are still very tough, might not be necessary in Nebraska. That's okay. But unless somehow money really just does grow on trees, we need a reopening soon. A date certain where we can continue protecting the most vulnerable and at the same.
Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Smith, go ahead. Take it away.
I met Bob Redfield. He's a nice guy, right? He's a Beltway guy, right? So this is about Beltway fights and stuff, and I'm not about that. He hasn't seen anybody with COVID. My team and I have treated over 115 patients now. This drug works.
States.